Hello, hello. This is Holly Strong, and this is the Transcendental Enclave podcast, episode 2. Today, my partner Robert and I will be interviewing Nilesh Mistry, and we have all kinds of interesting conversations that we will be discussing. If you'd like to say hi, Nilesh.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. Hope you're doing really good. I know it's some crazy times at the moment, but yeah, I'm here with Holly and Robert, of course.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure.
We're going to start out with a simple little kind of fun question, and it's so versatile as well, and that is, what do you do? What's your favorite way to meditate? Your position? Do you use music, or could you share that with us?
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to share that with you. It's changed over the years. I've been meditating for about 6 years, like properly. I've done it like throughout my whole life, but not very consistently and not every day. So it varies. You know, we see all these pictures of yogis and people, you know, sitting cross-legged and sitting upright and meditating that way. You know, I think there's so many different ways to do it. And to be honest with you, there's no right way or wrong way. It's just your way. So I think it's important to remember that. How I tend to do it is I like lying down. And the reason for that is because I'm a little bit lazy. So, you know, no other reason than that. I get up really quite early in the morning. So normally I get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And for some reason my body clock just seems to want to be up at that time. And then one of the first things I do is meditate. And so in the early stages, I used a lot of guided meditation to help me, to help this human 3D brain to get more into the, you know, the mode of brain that I wanted it to be in. And then as time went on, I was guided not to use any meditation music or anything like that at all, and just focus on my energy and raise my energy and bring it forward. So Christy Marie Sheldon, Heart Center Awakening is a great one to use. I've used that many times in my life. Brilliant one. And then I progressed on to just meditation music, and then, you know, walking myself through my own meditation. So what that entails is really quite straightforward. As I connect to Father, Source, God, the realms of heaven, and I imagine a big beam of white, beautiful white, bright light coming down from the heavens onto earth, and I directly see it coming into the top of my head and the crown of my head, and then I imagine it filling my whole body full of light. And not only does it fill the outline of my body, but then it goes beyond my body too as well. So the light expands beyond the frame of my 3D human self. And then I imagine roots going down into Gaia and connect to the core of Gaia. And then I bring up her orange, beautiful, healing, full of life light. And that orange comes up through the roots. And both the white and the orange meet at the heart center. And then I use that and explode that light out into planet Earth, and it touches every single being on this planet. It touches everything on this planet, and then it explodes out into the universe, where it touches every single being, every single molecule out in the universe. And that is one of the things that I do pretty much every day. Yeah.
Oh, that is so beautiful. What is the significance of the orange shade?
Orange represents the molten lava from Gaia. Now, it can represent a lot of things, but I just like the orange. For me, it's a very warming color. It reminds me of the core of Gaia. It reminds me of the sun. It's a very regenerative, you know, a very kind of warming, a very kind of healing color to me. Sometimes we get a little bit preoccupied with what colors mean, and the reality is it can mean whatever you want it to mean. You know, wherever your focus goes is where the energy flows, right? So, you
That
know,
is so
if you,
true.
yeah, so if you want it to be black, it can be black, and it can still be very healing and
Okay.
warm and whatever you want it to be, you know. So there is no
All
rules to
about
this game.
intention.
Yeah, exactly.
Our next fun question we're going to ask is, Robert and I both channel ourselves and other beings.
Mm-hmm.
And you channel as well in your own way.
Yeah, I do.
And speaking of soul fractals, just so everyone knows, he's an incarnation of Archangel Metatron.
Correct. Yeah.
Both of us are angels as well, from the thrones, seraphim and thrones realm. So
Mm-hmm.
it's angels discussing everything today. But during your awakening process, did you doubt the information that you were receiving, either during channeling or your newly budding telepathic interactions with your higher beings?
That's a very good question, Holly. Yes, I actually doubted I was Metatron, and it took me a long time to accept that knowing, and I refused to step into it for a long, long time. In regards to the other information that I received, no. To me, it felt right. It was channeled from Father, and when you have information coming from Father in that way, there's a purity to it. There's a purity of intent, purity of love, and the simplicity of the actual messages that you're receiving is wonderful. It's one of the things people don't understand about excuse me, ascended masters and source God beings. People complicate the messages too much, and ascended masters and source God beings, their answers are simple. They're not complicated, because it is simple. It doesn't have to be complex in the way that sometimes it's presented. And you know, Yeshua and Kuan Yin and, you know, all of these beautiful, you know, Saint Germain, you know, all of them are like, they keep things really, really, really simple. So that is the key here. Ascended masters, they keep it really, really, really like simple.
Well, that's
So
good to know. So often online, we see these lengthy, complicated messages that are channeled supposedly with other beings, and you really, really have to be discerning and even set up within yourself, within your spirit, tools that you can use to really filter all the massive amount of information out there.
yeah,
Because the dark is definitely parading themselves all over the place in every way currently, and it's just a all-out battle.
I think you're right. I think when the message gets complicated, and I've watched quite a lot and I've read quite a lot in regards to that, I just switch off, because I know, because what actually happens is when you're channeling information, it's coming through the filter of your own perception, and so it's coming through the filter of you. And when it comes through the filter of you, that's when things get complicated. And when you add the ego into that, it makes things really, really complicated, and it makes things really messy. So, you know, channeling is a great way of getting information, but I think you will find, Holly and Rob, that we are in a new phase at the moment, and the new phase is people coming into their knowing. So you don't necessarily have to channel anymore. You just know. If someone asks you a question, you will just know the answer. You either know it or you won't know it. You know, there is no judgment either way. and this is a new way of being. This is what we're working towards now, and that's where I am with that. So rather than channeling information, I talk to, you know, Father Source God, not very often, but I do still speak to him and many of the beings, and it's just there. The knowing's just there. They just come in and tell me exactly what it is they want to, you know, the messages they want to send, and they are really, really simple. You know, they're not complicated messages. It's, you know, so if people aren't looking after themselves, they'll say, well, you're not eating properly, you're not drinking enough, you're not exercising, you're not meditating enough. You know, the answers that come through are really, really simple. You know, doesn't have to be complicated.
Which is good. Life is complicated enough all on its own.
Yes.
Now, we ourselves have had quite a bit of contact with what I categorize as galactic beings, including other aspects of our souls coming forward. In fact, both of us have discovered recently, as you say, the times are really changing spiritually, on the spiritual level, that we're remembering our interactions upon waking, these occurring in our lucid states, of our current selves, our current soul fractals actually being the higher selves to other aspects of our soul, other soul fractals living in parallel timelines, future or past, and that we're remembering these when we wake up.
Yeah.
And that is a new thing that is absolutely astounding to me particularly, you know, that I'm at this stage carrying out higher self capabilities to other parts of my soul, and that in itself is learning the multidimensionality of my own soul, our own souls, as current living beings, existing all at the same time, and interacting with these beings has been quite something. For instance, just last week, for 3 days in a row, the first day I had a female being come to me. She introduced herself as a priestess of a race that I created.
How beautiful.
And then the next night she came and she just kind of just dropped down into me and just felt me. Like I felt her whole being within myself, just quietly laying there, just getting a sense of me. And then the third night it seemed to be all downloads from her. And then on the fourth night, I had another spiritual friend who is a soulmate who lives near me. I had her channel the being so I could actually talk to her a little better. And of course, you know, I told her, I said, well, I have no recognition, or, you know, our minds are wiped when we come here, so I don't remember creating your race, but it's in another galaxy. And she just came on her own accord, because evidently it was a co-creation, and the other aspects that created that world and that race, I don't know what they're doing, but it caused her to doubt and wonder who I was, what part I played in it. I'm like or a combination of what they consider God. And she did say, that her race, their spiritual leaders, or their priests and priestesses, were actually created from that main race to be the spiritual leaders. So they're considered hybrids.
Mhm.
So that's just one instance of what's going on in my particular life. What kind of interactions have you encountered beyond Archangel Metatron that have made themselves apparent to you?
That's a very good question. I've been shown a couple of lives that I've actually lived. One was in the Pleiades, and it was specifically in Merup. And I have a real strong connection to that particular star in the Pleiades system. I was there as a male, and I was with what looked like a princess, and I felt like I was married to her, and we were on the precipice of this big disc. And I think it felt like more as a family get together more than anything. But it was very quick. They didn't allow me too much information with that one.
Oh, how interesting. Is this a current lifetime that's going on in that plane of existence?
It's a very good question, Holly. I really don't know the answer to that. What I can tell you, and what I am aware of, is that I tend to have a lot to do with source God beings and ascended masters, and they seem to be, and obviously the angelics, they seem to be the majority of where my connections seem to lie, and what I seem to have a lot to do with. I kind of feel I'm grateful in many ways, to be honest with you, that I'm not privy to any of that information, what I've done, because one of the things about being Metatron and holding that fractal within my soul is that there is so much that has been created by Metatron. And even if I have just even a small bit of it, I think it would send this brain a bit insane. I don't think it could cope with it. It would be too much. And it doesn't mean Metatron's like important or any of those things. It just means he's old. It means that I've just been around for a long time, and therefore I've had more opportunity to create than others. So there are some things that have been made privy to me, but I generally don't try and connect with Meti in in the ethereal or astral form, because I am Meti, so it doesn't really make sense why I would do that. And anything astrally, I leave up to him to sort that bit out. I don't want anything to do with that aspect of it. The roles are really clear to me. I am here to be in 3D on planet Earth to help humanity make sure that they get to the ascension point, which is what I'm here for. And the other aspect that I'm here for is to make sure that the galactics don't interfere. So it's very clear. They've been told that that they're not allowed to tell humanity or dictate to humanity which way they should go in regards to this ascension, or how they should deal with it, unless they're asking advice. But it's up to each individual human being to take that on board. It's not necessarily something that they have to do. So I'm very, very clear about that with them, and they know that. They have that agreement here. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
It does. It does.
Cool.
Like you said, we're all here to discover and put into action our soul's mission.
Yes.
And yes, indeed, there are definite beings who want to interfere with that. So, but I've found out through my rather short awakening process that the higher our frequency is, the less interference they can exert on you, which is a wonderful thing, very wonderful. But
yeah, but it's also You know, I love the darkness. I mean, you know, don't get
I
me
was
wrong. I
just
don't.
going to say that's part of our mission, I'm finding out, is literally reintegrating those aspects of our soul that are considered dark. They just have
Yes.
less light, and that's not at all bad, for goodness
Yeah.
sake. As we've all been taught, or a lot of us, especially the religiously upbrought people,
Mm-hmm.
that's also been occurring as well. I've been hearing they've literally just come, like in my case, they'll come into my existence, introduce themselves, and we have this little energetic exchange. I expand their Christ consciousness, and they go back to spread it amongst wherever it is they came from. So
Mm-hmm.
without changing who they are, of course, but it's definitely creating balance between light and dark, so we can all eventually just meet in the middle in
Yeah.
perfect balance.
Yeah. I think it's going to be more the other way. I think there's going to be more light than dark here as we go forward. Yes, you're
Oh,
absolutely right.
definitely.
We do have darkness within us, and many of you would have given a fractal of your soul to the darkness. You might not remember it, but I remember it. And so that's a very important factor. You know, the darkness is just another way of helping humanity understand what they don't want. That's all it's for. It's just teaching you what it is you don't want, what it is you don't want in your 5-dimensional reality, and what you don't want in this 3D dimensional reality. And we're discovering that. We can see, you know, we can see the violence, we can see the abuse of these beautiful children that are pure and innocent. We can see a lot of that happening in the elite systems. We can see, you know, the elderly and the vulnerable being taken advantage of. You can see the governments taking advantage of humanity as a whole, and have been doing for a long time, you know, and manipulating, you know, humanity through the media, through the music, you know, through newspapers. You know, it's all there. And so this is
Absolutely. I
this.
absolutely look forward to that disclosure. That was actually all of this that you said was brought to my attention just this morning. I mean, it's all, it all has to be dealt with, and
it's
it's
really
not going to be
simple.
easy on the most of humanity.
Well, that depends on you as a soul and depends on your contract. You know, there are some who are going to be okay and be able to withstand the vibrations of Gaia and vibrations of, you know, God's source energy sending them to Gaia. And you're either going to be here and you're going to be able to assimilate that energy, and you're going to do your work, and you're going to, you know, be able to, you know, assimilate that
Function.
vibration, or you're leaving. That's it. Those are the two choices, you know. And the more you stay in not dealing with your stuff, the more you're going to feel like you're boxed in a corner. And when you get boxed in the corner, you've got two choices. One, you're just going to go surrender, I can't deal with this, I'm out. Or two, you're going to come out fighting. So either one of those is going to work for you. And you know, there's no judgment either way. If you choose to leave, that's okay. You choose to leave, you get to go back home, you get to go back to be with your star family, you get to go back and be with Father, Source, God, if that's where you really want to be. You have a choice of where you want to go. And if you choose to stay, then you have got front row tickets to the greatest show ever in this universe that we have planned.
Yes, that's what I've
Wonderfully
been
put.
sensing.
Wonderfully put.
I'm
Yeah.
going to go to a little different heading now, and that is your thoughts on the secret space program, its effect on us as humans, and do you have any personal connections yourself that you've discovered?
No, I don't.
Nope, you don't. Okay.
It's simple. It's simple as that. My mission here is very simple. It's to be with humanity, to walk with humanity here on planet Earth, not out there in space. and to make sure that ascension happens. That is my goal here. That's what I'm here for. That's what I was sent here to do. Ascension's already happened. We're just going through the motions. In regards to space, yes, I have spent some time out in space. I have met Ashtar. He is incredible. I love him so much. I actually do know Ashtar's girlfriend, who actually is here on planet Earth, and we do spend some time talking every now and then. And sometimes I get called up to help with certain missions, and it's wonderful to be a part of that. But I'm very clear that my mission is here on planet Earth. What happens out there is really up to Ashtar, you know, to sort out, and all of the other galactics to work together. They know what they're doing. That aspect of the space is left up to my higher self to deal with that. Obviously we fractalize out, so it's left up to him to deal with that, and left up to source energy to deal with that too. That's their realm, not my realm. My realm is down here for the time being. It's very it's very important for me to ensure that I continue with the focus that is here on planet Earth, because I know everything else has been taken care of. So it's really important that I focus here on planet Earth and do what I've come here to do, and not be distracted by what's happening in space. I'm fully aware of the battles that have been going on, and the war that is currently going on there at the moment. I'm aware of that. I know about that. The secret space program, yes. Well, that's been going on for a long time, ever since I was a teenager. And I really do
from
hope.
the 1940s.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
I myself was told I spent a good 50 years there.
Oh, didn't you?
I wake up exhausted every day. Up until recently, now that I've know what I know, I've removed myself, thank goodness. But yeah, not a necessarily good thing. And recently as well, I have connected with Ashtar as well. I one evening went to bed, and when I turned the lights off, Robert was already asleep, and I hadn't even closed my eyes yet, and in the complete darkness there was this crystalline light blue shade energy just flooding my whole upper half. I could just see it, and I of course was like, I knew it was somebody. I never had that happen before. And it was Ashtar, and he shared that, I was part of the ground crew. I believe Rob as well. But that was an interesting little interaction there. Myself, I mean, yes, I have so much to do as well, like you, but I enjoy, I absolutely love exploring all the other aspects of my being, my soul, and what they're doing and what beings they're with. So I'm have a lot of contact and thoroughly enjoy connecting with them and interacting with them. So happily at the moment I don't have a normal day job, so I eat, sleep, and breathe this whole process and every level possible. And I'm sure it was meant to be that way as well.
I think it's wonderful that we've all got our own, set kind of missions and purposes, on planet Earth, and not every single one is identical, and that's beautiful, and that's exactly the way it's meant to be. So yes, I think there's many here on the planet.
Part of my process is like now, just getting out to the world, all the different possibilities that, there are otherworldly beings and planets and our multidimensional souls, and how to connect with those, and to talk about bring up subjects and to talk about all the different aspects of the depth of who we truly are. And if at the very least planting seeds of awakening through talking about that, whether they believe it or not. I've certainly chased away a number of people with my openness. They just weren't ready to hear it, that's for sure.
Of course.
One of those topics I'd like to just spend a moment on, and I feel is one of my particular processes that I'm to help humanity with, and that is sexual healing.
Yeah. Holly, before we go into that subject, can I just add a little bit to your
Please
your
do.
galactic star? So what I wanted to add is I think it's wonderful that, obviously many are connecting to the galactics, and that's good. You should, because that is your lineage, and it's important to know some of your lineage. You're probably not going to want to know all of it, but some of it's really, really useful just to bring to your awareness that you are more than just human. And so, as you know, my Patreon channel is up and live, and so one of the things that we have already brought forward is the dragons reveal. I don't know if many have had a chance to have a look at that. It's also on YouTube too, and it talks about dragons, and it talks about connecting with the dragon community, and how it's come about with dragons being here also on planet Earth. It was very unexpected. It was not something that was planned, but also very, very important. And a part of the role that I have here is also to reveal some of these new races. One of the races we will be bringing forward at some point will be the Elven race. We've had connection with them and bringing them forward as well, and explaining the agreements that they've made with humanity, so people are aware that if they're connecting to the Elven side, well, there's a reason behind that and why that's currently happening right now. This was done months ago, so this was done some time ago. It wasn't done recently, and so these beings, galactic beings that weren't really interested in humanity or humanity's ascension, didn't have a care one way or another. And believe you me, there are many races like that. All of a sudden have an invested interest in humanity, and it's changed for them. So it will be bringing forward information like that too, which is what you're talking about. Is not just the Palladians and Arcturians and Lyrans that we're connected to. There is so much more, and so bringing those forward too. So yeah, just wanted to
Absolutely. I myself have had recent connections with the fairies over in Norway, actually. And the dragons, I am of dragon lineage, both of us are as well. My current fractal of that one, it was Queen Ileana. She was iridescent light yellow color. She's in the spirit realm now. But we're highly connected with the dragon clans of Croatia.
Wow.
I've actually had the land itself come to me during meditation and tell me it's time to come home. I'm needed over there. And there's a specific island called Hvar. It's Kvar, Hvar. And that has always been run by the Croatian dragons since its very existence. So I'm highly connected to the dragon clans as well. The Lady of the Lake and the Golden One, her partner. They're kind of based in where Scotland, Loch Ness. The water dragon, I'm connected with her as well. So, and Robert's fire dragon. I'm more water related, so it's not surprising he's fire and I'm water. But so
Absolutely, yeah.
fully understand. I even remember early on when I discovered the existence of dragons, I was in a lovely little neighboring forest, and I found a park bench quietly, and I meditated, and I said, I'd really, if there are really dragons and anyone that might have a connection with me, would you make your existence known? And I just sat very quietly. And lo and behold, I had my back to the picnic table, and all of a sudden the whole forest went really quiet. And then I felt this giant thump behind me. It just shook the earth like something really heavy landed. And so I physically felt its presence, and it just snorted and blew my hair forward from the backside. And that was a very physical interaction with one of them. So that was really, really fun. And I really do think it was, as Robert's fire dragon alter ego, that was well before I even knew of Robert's existence. So that was very fun.
Beautiful. I love them.
Thank you for
Yeah.
bringing them up. They are a very integral part, not to mention their connection with Mother Gaia and the dragon lines, the grids. Their whole energy and is being changed and upgraded.
You mean the actual dragons are being upgraded, or you mean that Gaia
The
has been upgraded?
dragons are upgrading and adjusting the frequencies and even the color associated with her existing dragon lines, or ley lines, they're called. But they're adjusting, as she ascends and raises her frequency, they're doing adjustments in the energy grid of which some of the dragons oversee. And there's one in particular, I don't know his name, but his main hub is through Norway as well. The White Dragon King of the North, I believe he calls himself. But I believe there's multiple levels of that as well. But they're still here and doing that kind of work, those particular dragon clans that oversee the grids of Gaia.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's true. They have a very strong connection to Gaia. They particularly don't really care about humans, but with Gaia they have a real strong connection with her for sure. And yeah, it wasn't something that they were really keen on, being here and being a part of it, but they are. So they are here. So many will connect to that now, and be a part of that and be made aware of it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, they're definitely coming forward and making themselves more apparent for those who are open to it. So that's wonderful. Very helpful, very helpful. I've helped them, they've helped me with healings as well, like the healing of lands. I've had people come my way who were in need of assistance, and it first and foremost was related to the land underneath their house. And they've been really incremental in clearing the land and all the attachments to the lower realms or other humans that occupied that space prior to their arrival, were greatly affecting their lives in a bad way. So they've assisted me in aspects of clearing of the land, and then the human on the land. first and foremost. So I've been really thankful for that.
It's very cool, Holly. I like that. Yeah.
Are there any other topics you'd like to discuss that are relevant or current, but a little more out there, you know, some seed planting topics?
I suppose the main one is just the current energies we're going through. I think everyone's, especially the last week, you know, with the planets being in retrograde and, you know, the full moons and eclipses we're having at the moment, there's been a lot of trauma that's been brought up for many, for just about everyone, I feel, on the planet at the moment. And it's not all happening at the same time. It's happening different vibration times for different humans. So, and just to be aware that, you know, the reason why this is coming up is because we're having two big energies coming forward later this year, and they're preparing you for it. They're preparing you for that energy because, you know, the clearing does need to happen, and many humans have spent such a long time burying it, not dealing with it, you know, almost kind of like avoiding it. And now there is no way you can avoid it any longer. You're either going to deal with it and get support and help to deal with these traumas and these, you know, these conditionings and programs and belief systems that you've been, you know, practicing and you know, applying your attention and vibration to for all these years, and let them go, or you're going to struggle with it. And this is what's happening. And things that you thought you'd dealt with as well, that's another thing I'm seeing is, you know, people who thought they had dealt with a particular situation, you know, is coming back around, and they're like, God damn it, like, why has this come back around? I've already dealt with this several times, and it's coming back around because it actually hasn't been dealt with, and there's layers of it, and you've got to get to the core of it.
Yep, I use the analogy of being our essence is like an onion. You know, you just deal with one layer and the next one comes up. You know, it's layer after layer after layer coming forward. That's and right. I noticed too, so many people lately have been complaining of just sleepless nights and strange visions and dreams, and of course the Schumann Resonance has been off the charts lately as well, that I know are greatly affecting the frequency shifts, bringing forward a lot of this change and the beginning of clearings and bringing to people's attentions what needs dealt with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have someone for us either.
I don't see it being as just a particular time. I just feel like it's an ongoing process, really, and I think it will continue and continue and continue until you know you're definitely standing in your sovereignty and standing in your vibration. So yeah, as we go forward, there's going to be more of that, and just to make people aware that it's okay. It's all right. You know, you're not abnormal. You're not weird. You know, you're not weak. You know, you are just going through what everyone else is going through, and we are all going through this together. So share it with someone in your community, in your spiritual community. You know, pick up the phone, have a chat with them, and discuss what's going on, you know, with you. And if you're not part of a spiritual community, then you need to be, and seek it out. You know, ask your higher guide. Just say to them, send me, you know, a spiritual community that I can be a part of, and they will send it to you. You know, and so you know, you need to realize that it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Everything's going to be okay. And what you're going through is perfectly natural. It's perfectly normal. It's just helping you to get to that one consciousness, which is what we're all aiming for. So, yeah, just work through
it. If you'd like to say a little bit more about your, or do you have anything more you'd like to add about your Patreon channel? And then I'd like to end with a little light language healing energy for everyone.
Okay, yeah, that'll be great. Thank you, Holly and Rob. We set up this Patreon channel, and it's very recent. I've been guided to do it for almost a year, but I know I've been dragging my feet like many others But it's finally here, and it's live. What are we going to be doing with it? Well, we're going to bring forward, information from myself, obviously, Metti, and Father Source God, but I'm also doing a series with many, many other people too, which I also think will be really important and useful for humanity to know. The reason why we've gone through Patreon and we're not doing it through, or we're doing a little bit of it through YouTube, but not much through Facebook, is because information is being censored as we go forward, and they're going to be censoring more and more and more. And this information, and this, more importantly, the vibration really needs to get out to people. Every day that we continue on planet Earth, we are not only downloading light codes and quantum codes, but we're also exchanging them. So, each time you watch a video, you are exchanging light codes, you are exchanging quantum codes, and this is going to help your vibration and many of those around you. And that is to help you to understand more of who you really are, more of what you're really here to do, and also open up your gifts. Naturally, we have a lot of amazing gifts, telepathy, light language, also teleportation. I can't wait till we start doing that.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Yeah, and I can see it happening from planet to planet. It's not just going to be from one end of Gaia to the other end of Gaia. It's going to be from planet to planet. So it's going to be incredible that we'll be able to access and do that. And we also set it low. So, in regards to being a content creator, the lowest membership level you can have as a content creator is £3 a month. And I really didn't want to set it at 3.00 because that number really doesn't resonate with me, and I'm really like hot on numbers. I love the number 3.
Yeah.
And so we set it at 333. And the reason for that is the points of a triangle. There's 3 points to a triangle, and triangles are very, very important to me, and very important to the cube, and very important to the actual sacred geometry of everything. So
Absolutely, the Metatronic cube.
yeah, exactly.
Super important and powerful. Can you tell everyone who Metti is quickly?
Yeah, of course. Metatron is an archangel. He was formerly Enoch in a previous life, and then Father Source God took him and made him into Metatron. So that is true. The Bible is right about that. What they're not right about is when they call him the scribe of God, or the lesser vibration of God. That's not true. In fact, Father's vibration and my vibration are very similar, which is why when you're sitting next to me or you're talking with me, you can feel that peace, that calm, that love. And so that's kind of really important. The scribe of God is not accurate because that's what you've got the Akashic records for. Do you know who created the Akashic records?
I don't.
I did.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
So you're saying Metti is just short for Metatron?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Metatron created the Akashic records, so then obviously you don't need the scribe because that is the scribe. So every thought, feeling, experience any being has ever had will be in the Akashic records for you. It's basically the Akashic records is like a catalogue. It's like almost like your own personal diary of your own personal experience. That's what it's about. That's what it's for. And what it's there for is to help you to not only understand what you've created and what you've gone through, but maybe even for you to review and help you to do it better. Yeah? And
absolutely.
That's really important.
I've definitely been there. I just didn't realize that. Was that your own personal name for him, or is he actually known by that?
Metti, one of the things you'll learn about Metatron is that I love nicknames. So,
Okay.
speaking to you, I'll be like, all right, Holes, how's it going?
Okay.
I love nicknames. And so Metti is the nickname for Metatron. I think I love nicknames because I think it's a great way to connect with people, and I think it's fun. I think it's fun.
It is.
So
It is.
Absolutely.
We need to bring as much fun to this existence as possible, and there needs to be a heck of a lot more of it.
absolutely.
Another part of our mission, to bring
Yes,
joy and
yes.
peace and smiles and laughter and camaraderie, you know. But enough
Yes,
isolation. It's time to come together again, one way
absolutely.
or another, in line,
Yeah.
online, in person, whichever way. Okay, so if I wanted to just quickly add, from one of your other interviews,
Mhm.
you had stated you don't speak light language yet,
Mhm.
and I wanted to share with you, I fought that as well for at least a
Yes.
year. And it
Yes.
would literally feel like like the words were physical, and they were like knocking the inside of my teeth, the backside, trying to get out.
Yes.
And how I literally would just like, you know, bite my lips. It's like, no, I'm not gonna do it, you know. And when I would put my little dog, my big dog actually, out at night, there was a little flowering crab
Mhm.
tree, and I would just go put my hands on it, and I would just like, okay, I just opened my mouth and let it out, and it just came out in the slightest whisper, you
Mhm.
know. and then
Mhm.
and then it got bigger and stronger, and of course, like everything, practice makes perfect.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to share that, you know, I fought that as well, and that it needed to come out. And I fully believe it at some point when we do have our galactic family come and introduce themselves, I will probably be one of the galactic ambassadors that will help in that arena between humans and our galactic family. So we'll end with some healing energies for all of those that listen to this.
Mhm.
I will just speak with what comes forward, and then we will say our goodbyes. Hatiaka shasatia shakatama asasaya eki ashasanantia sadaiki antaichesaki ashasata ikya antuiki ashasataya andaya la sataya shaseke antoiki ashasatetia masasi atuiki ashasaya atuiki achasanana. Namaste and much love to all. And much love to you, Nilesh. And you absolutely blessed our day coming and sharing my very number 2 podcast. So you'll definitely be a blessing to all those that follow from here on out.
Wonderful. Thank you for both of you for having me. It's been a complete pleasure, and you know, I love this sort of stuff. This is the stuff that really kind of, you know, I love, where connecting with one another and doing the one-to-one stuff is always wonderful. So yeah, thank you so much. It's beautiful connecting with other souls. I love this bit. This is my favorite bit of being here. This is the bit I love. Yeah.
Me as well. Me as well. I absolutely love connecting to soul family who are here in the physical. So
Mhm.
nice to meet you,
Yes.
family, and talking
Yes.
to you. And we'll say our goodbyes, and thank you so much for being a part of Transcendental Enclave podcast. And have a blessed
Welcome.
day.
Welcome.